In today's video, I want to talk about compost. I want to talk about the importance of compost and also tell you a little bit about my attempt at composting. Stay tuned. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I hope you'll like and subscribe. In today's video, I'm talking about composting. But first, let's talk about the difference between compost and mulch. Mulch is that top dressing we put in our gardens or around our flower beds and shrubs. It retains moisture and it also makes things look so pretty. Our mulch is made up of material that will go in the compost pile, but it's the material before it's broken down. It's pine straw, it's wood chips, it's things you can buy, organic matter from a home improvement or garden store, but it's typically whole. It's before it's broken down and become compost. Compost is the organic matter that has been broken down and is added to soil to make your plants grow better. To make your own compost, you're going to use things like grass clippings, yard waste like leaves, pine straw, vegetable scraps, but no dairy products, no meat or oil. So a lot of what mulch and compost are made of is the same thing. You can use mulch, the pine straw, the wood chips in your compost pile, but you want to let them sit for several months so that they break down, decompose. That material will get hot, decompose, and you can add it to your soil. Now, a good compost pile is going to be equal parts brown matter and green matter. The brown matter being pine straw, wood chips, the green matter being grass clippings. The brown matter is going to give you carbon as it breaks down. The green matter is going to give you nitrogen as it breaks down. When you start your compost pile, you want to layer those brown matter items from your yard waste and those grass clippings. Layer those together like you're making lasagna. And then you also need water. After you've got your pile started, you want to water it every few days and turn it. Keep that pile turning. You want to let your pile go several months to a year until that material breaks down into a good, rich compost. Something I've been adding to my compost pile is paper and cardboard. Paper and cardboard are a good thing to add to your compost pile, and it's keeping those things out of the landfill. And when I say cardboard, one of the funny things that I've started saving for my compost pile is that little cardboard center in the center of a toilet paper roll, and also the center out of paper towel rolls. I have also started using our paper shredder more. Even with junk mail, I will shred the paper and add that to the compost pile. When you start your compost pile, you don't have to have anything fancy. You don't even have to have walls. I don't. Just have a dry, shady area in your yard near a water source. You want to start piling up the pine straw, the wood chips, the sticks, the leaves, the cardboard, those toilet paper rolls, food scraps, things you've pulled out of the garden. And then you want to put water on it. Every few days you want to wet that pile. Now some people even say put a tarp over your pile to keep that moisture in. Now that's not something I've started doing, but it probably would speed up that decomposition process. I have made this compost pile fun. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. I've been looking around my yard, shrubs I can trim, weeds I can pull, just so I can add them to my compost pile. Well, I know it's important to have green in your compost pile. Have some grass clippings. But we don't have a bagger on the back of our lawnmower. We just mulch the grass clippings back into the lawn. So I started looking around for a neighbor that did bag their grass. While driving into town, I passed a business that I noticed their groundskeeper was using a bagger. I stopped a few days later and asked if I could speak with the groundskeeper. The groundskeeper happened to be nearby and was kind enough to take my name and number and told me that the next time he mowed, he would call me and let me know and I could come get all I wanted. Well, he did. He called me. I wasn't busy. I threw on some work clothes and I went down with several tubs and filled them up. I took 4 trips going back and forth to fill up these tubs, but I was so appreciative to get those grass clippings because I needed that nitrogen in my compost pile. You definitely want that mixture of green and brown to have a good compost. I made sure to ask that groundskeeper if these grass clippings had been treated with some kind of chemical. I don't want to add anything to my compost pile that has chemicals such as weed killer or just any chemical that I'm afraid of. Because remember, I'm going to be putting this compost into my flower beds and my garden beds next spring. Something else that's very good to add to your compost pile that I haven't mentioned yet is coffee grounds. If you're a coffee drinker, add those coffee grounds to your compost pile. I hope this video will encourage you to start a compost pile. You don't need a fancy compost bin. Just an area in your yard that's shady, close to a water source, and just start piling up your leaves, your grass, your yard waste, some cardboard, some old paper, even some coffee grounds, and turn them once in a while. Make sure they stay wet every few days, and you will be amazed at the rich organic matter that they produce that you can add to your garden. I don't know about you, but I was disappointed this year when I went to the garden center and bought potting soil and gardening soil. I'm telling you, the name brands that I bought that were great in the past, I was disappointed with this year, and that is what inspired me to start my own compost pile. Please comment down below. I'm very curious to know if anyone else was disappointed in that name brand gardening mix that we used to love so much. I hope you will give composting a try. You're going to be shocked how hot that compost gets, especially when you add those grass clippings. Until next time, bye.